And we are back, baby. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. We did go live a little bit earlier, but there was no sound. So I have to cancel and restart the stream. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. And Manchester United, what we're going to talk about today, that we have some breaking news coming out from the ether, from the transfer gossip that Erik Ten Hag, not Ten Hag, but Amorim has been given reassurance that they will sign a striker. Who would that be? We have a live poll running and gunning, so please select the option there as well. And also we're going to talk about Onana. Is he on his way out from the club? Apparently some reports are claiming that, Amorim doesn't really fancy Onana, and we are looking to replace. And also going to talk about Kobie Mainoo situation, the contract. Will it be? Will it not be? Will it be shipped out? Rasmus Hojlund to Napoli? What is that all about? Guys, this is MUFC Realist TV. I'm going to round up everything because it's international breaks. I'm going to try to round up the transfer news and the gossip in 30 minutes. But guys, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. It's free. Smash the like button now. Finger that like button. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Take a sip on your coffee and we will back after this jingle. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. First and foremost, I want to sort of check with the chat. Do you have sound? Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, because before it was a little bit, I was talking to myself for 10 minutes without realizing I had no sound and the battery on my device was kind of out. So let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully, yes, you can hear me. Yes, smash a like. Guys, yes, you can hear me. It says Vulpsy. Big up, Whoopsie. How are you doing, guys? Let me know also where you are chatting from. Like, I am currently in Vietnam. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, Manchester United fans, because you know what? I'm traveling. I'm doing traveling football. I'm here on business. Of course, this is not my normal studio. You can see that I am in my hotel room. It's quite so nice and dandy. But anyway, good afternoon, Daniel Fletcher as well. Good morning, everyone. Yes, you can hear me. Good, good, good. And I do apologize. Guys, it's been a little bit drought. I haven't been live for a while. Sat in my, what did Stu say? Sat me in my conversation smoking a batch. Listen, at the end of the day, guys, we have some news to cover today. It's international breaks. There's some paper talks. Let's do this, peeps. Let's do this. Apparently, according to the brilliant Florian Plettenberg, saying that Manchester United are confident they will be able to invest in top transfer this summer, especially as the budget will be free up through the possible and planned departure of number 1, Lindelof, number 2, Casemiro, number 3, Eriksen, who's going for free as well. His contract is running. And what is this about the Kobie Mainoo, the never-ending story regarding his contract negotiations? That seems to be sort of, resolved. We're going to dive into that story later on. Also, Plettenberg is saying the sales of Marcus Rashford and Anthony will provide the club with even greater financial flexibility. That is according to Florian Plettenberg. And he has a little bit of truth what he's saying here, Plettenberg, because if you really look at Rashford, he ain't coming back to United. No way, Jose. Yeah, we can certainly get like 50 million pounds for him, or 40 million pounds. Anthony's doing bits in La Liga. He's basically putting himself in the shop window, doing bits in the market. So that's money we can be generating. Lindelof, contract gone. Casemiro, 350k each wage bill. Eriksen, his contract is expiring. Kobie Mainoo is a homegrown talent. And speaking about homegrown talent, Rashford is a homegrown talent. And Man United will also generate money from, Jadon Sancho. That's been also reported. It was a little bit of a scaremonger to say that, you know, Chelsea don't really fancy him, but that's been debunked that they will sign Jadon Sancho. There's another 25 million at the end of the day. So we know that the finances are dire, but this is kind of the way we can sort of rebolster the squad, in my opinion. But also look at the young talent that's like, you know, the academy players that's been on the bench, been given opportunities. It's remarkable what Man United can do in the summer window. I'm not going to get too giddy, but this is reports coming out from Florian Plettenberg. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings. Daniel, you are saying you're from Northern Ireland. You're tuning in from Northern Ireland. Big up Northern Irish. How you doing? And Stu Whoopsies is saying, I'd sell Mainoo unless he tells his agent to give his head a wobble. Look, we're going to talk about Mainoo. I kind of agree with you. If you look at sort of, I might get a lot of stick for this, mate. If we actually look at Amorim's system, mad as I seem, I can't make heads or tails where Mainoo fits in, right? He's not a number 6. He's not a number 8. He's not a number 10. We tried him in different positions. He's not too fast, but one thing that he's good at is to sort of like, you know, low center of gravity, like, you know, keeping good ball possession, driving with the ball, but that's about it, right? You know, doesn't have the pace, right? He's not that one that sort of, you know, provides the pressing either. So if we do get money from Mainoo, which is apparently he wanted 120 up to 180k a week, his agent must be smoking something really, because Mainoo, in my opinion, it was too early, right? He had half a good season last season, right? You know, he came in January after suffering that injury, did bits for Man United, and then got selected by Gareth Southgate to play for the Three Lions in the Euros. Did markedly well, but this season hasn't really hit the standards. It's the second season syndrome, and then now injured, and now his agent coming out to say that he wants 180k, 120k. That's too much, you know. On what merits can you prove yourself? You know what I mean? On what merits? I want to hear from you. Jarle Malmini is saying, I would do anything, everything we can to keep Mainoo, but 150 to 180k wages is crazy. And I agree with you. It is. You know, you got to look yourself in the mirror, like, are you really worth that money? And where in Europe can you play other than potentially some champion, you know, some Premier League clubs coming in for him? But I don't believe the Man United will sell him at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, like, you know, if you look at it, the contract, according to the Mainoo, yeah, hang on. According to the contracts here, exclusive, Man United have made positive progress in talks about Kobie Mainoo's new deal. So it looks like they don't want to really get rid of him, and it looks like it's been strong on with his agent. So I'm happy if we can keep Mainoo. He's part of the future. He's one of the youngsters, together with Rasmus Hojlund, Garnacho. We've seen Heaven is coming in as well, doing bits in the market. And I feel really sorry about Heaven, because, you know, we just bought him in January. He's starting to show progress. And, you know, the transformative signing of Patrick Dorgo, you know what I mean? So this, according to me, like, you know, the last 7 games, Ruben Amorim has been unbeaten. And if you look at the progress, yes, there is progress. Players are starting to understand, like, players do understand Ruben Amorim's system, and they kind of take aboard what they want to do. A little bit too late. Some people saying we're 13th in the league, we're climbing, potentially can finish 11th, 10th, who knows? But the Premier League is not the importance for me right now. For me, the importance is to go deep into the finals of Europa League, looking at who we have available. We're looking at the squad, and Harry Amos was given minutes. Chido Obi Martin was giving him minutes. We have young Toby Collier as well. We have Fletcher twins. We have Morehouse. We have such great talents, guys, you know. So for me, the transfer window, you got to be astute. You got to think box clever. Like, you know, how can we invest in this squad, but do it correctly? Not doing like the fuck up what we did with Murtaugh and Fletcher and, you know, Ed Woodwards and that, you know. So Man United are currently looking at, maybe we should splash the cash a little bit of an experienced striker, because let's face it, guys, we all seen it. We all know it. Rasmus Hojlund is too young to lead the line at 21, 28, 22. Like, it took him 21 21 games to score, right? Together with Garnacho, they had a drought on 25 games as well. So we can't really rely to sort of look at Rasmus Hojlund to say, look, Rasmus, you would lead the line. We hope you will become good, because the stats, according, if we compare you to Viktor Gyökeres, you have the similar profiles. But the only difference is that Gyökeres has like what, couple of more years experience under his belt and leading goal scorer of 2 years in a row in Europe, right? So for me, it's a no-brainer. Man United should take the money. If we get, the money from pure profit from from Rashford, right? That's pure profit, 50, 40 million. Invest that in a striker, right? Invest it smart, right? Because at the end of the day, I believe that we need that cherry on the top together to bolster that midfield as well. The right wing back situation, apparently we got snubbed by Chelsea. Quenda, it chose to join, Chelsea 2026. That's 1 year from now. But I was thinking, when I read the news, because I remember that Ruben Amorim did a gentleman's agreement and promised to Sporting that he would not rinse the club on their talent. And there was 2 players that he wanted. There was Quenda and Gyökeres. And then was reports saying that, Gyökeres was too old for the profile. And it's like, oh, well, this doesn't really sound great. That was just speculation. But lo and behold, we are back. We are back, baby, because apparently, if we add this to the stage, guys, Manchester United are looking to strengthen the attack in the summer. It's intensively now. They're scouting very, very hard right now. Of course, 2 months into the window is open. Talks have already begun, according to Plettenberg. In the Bundesliga, United are closely monitoring Hugo Ekitike, right? And Benjamin Šeško. We know Benjamin Šeško, we've been linked for him forever and ever. Viktor Gyökeres and Viktor Osimhen also remain high on the list. This is according to Plettenberg. This is the breaking news, guys. But if you look at these 4 strikers, right, who would you take? And please do get involved in the poll as well, right? Me arguably to say, I like Šeško. I always did. I always rated Šeško, but he's still a Rasmus Hojlund, still lots of development, right? If I look at Ekitike, it's okay. Not the cherry on the top that we really need, but the 2 game-changing signings that will sort of make a huge impact is 100% for me, Gyökeres and Osimhen. Why? Well, if I had to choose, of course, my preference will go on who? Definitely Gyökeres, Viktor Gyökeres. Why? Because Viktor Gyökeres is a leading goal scorer 2 years in a row in a golden boot in sort of Europe. And also, he played under Ruben Amorim. There was some reports saying, well, we're not going to sign him because of the age profile. But listen, he's only 6 months in between him and the other striker, which is Osimhen. It doesn't really make sense. And now it kind of leads to the path that, yeah, there was some reports saying that he wants to have Champions League football, but we don't know yet if we're going to get Champions League football. What if we go all the way in the Europa League and win it, and we are in the Champions League, and all of a sudden, boom, barabush. But I believe also that the pulling power is not always about the Champions League peeps. I believe that the pulling power, how you can convince Gyökeres, is 100% his daddy. We're talking about Amorim. Of course, he wants to play for Amorim, right? That's my thoughts. But also, he played in the Premier League before. He played in the Championship before. So if I look at Osimhen, he's a more all-round striker. Napoli don't want him back 100%. They said, no, you're not coming back. And this leaves us to speculations. At the end of the day, guys, get involved. Who would you get, right? Who would you get? I'm not going to go into the comments what you guys are saying. Daniel Fletcher is saying, I would see 4 or 5 signings this summer, and I think one, Garnacho or Mainoo will be used to help this, and some fans need to accept that this is the sad reality. Yeah, we can't have the Stockholm syndrome, and I kind of sort of echo what you're saying, but I don't believe that Garnacho should be the sacrificial lamb. Garnacho, for me, is starting to get Ruben Amorim's system, right? If you play him on the left number 10, he's definitely be more potent than actually Kobie Mainoo. As I said, deluded before, I don't really see Kobie Mainoo fitting in Amorim's system. Like, we try to shoot on him as a number 9, as a number 10, as a number 8, as a number 6, and it's been sort of a mixed bag of results. And if they are trying to sort of strong on the club to say, well, we want 150, 180, 120K, I'm saying, what merits? Like, you know, do you first and foremost, do Man United see a future with it? Will it fit? You know, it's not for me to decide, but I agree what you're saying. Like, you know, somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb. But also, as been alluded before, like if you sell Rashford, that's a homegrown talent. That's another 45, 50 million smack bang into the kitty, right? You have the likes of Alvaro Fernandez as well, which the club has 50% sell-on fee. You know, if they sell him in the summer, Benfica, United will have 25 million in the kitty as well. Also, we look at Greenwood, like, you know, the one that, you know, arguably I would say would do something for Ruben Amorim in the system, but the club don't really want to have that headache. So if they sell him to PSG, Barcelona, XY, we said we do have 50% sell on there. So there's another 25. So there is money to be spent there, you know. So Yarlem, I mean, what you're saying here as well, we can get an 8 if we're going to do a mad run for a City in Newcastle. Well, we can get number 8. You reckon we beat them and our season will look a lot better? And if we win Europa League as well, Yarlem. But I don't think that we will finish 8, maximum 10th. Wolves is saying what you're saying here, Wolvesy. Every place is worth 3 million. Oh, yeah, you're right. Every position that we climb in the ladder is worth 3 million pounds. You're right. We need to finish as high as we can, win Europa League, and we will be laughing our 53 off next season, 100%. Wolves is saying Gyökeres 8 days a week, 100% you will take him. Jay is saying Gyökeres for 54 million would be a bargain. Fabrizio has already broken that down. The Gyökeres value in the summer would be between 60 to 75 million euros. If you convert that into pounds, what would that be? That'd be about 55 million pounds. So for me, that's a no-brainer. Silverman is saying what you're saying, Silverman in the house. I'm not sure about the strikers. I would love to see an Alvarez. Why not? It's not a bad shout. Yolam Amin is saying we are 7 points behind 8th right now. So anything can happen. The ball is round and anything can happen. So yeah. So what is to say we can't finish as high up as the table? If we finish 10th, for me, I take it, right? But right now, I'm not really looking at the Premier League table. I'm personally looking at just to finish the Europa League, win that final. You know, it's all down to the players. 10th is 6 points away. So that's arguably to say, Yale, it's achievable, right? At the end of the day, guys, like, you know, I want to sort of dive into another story, which is, you know, this one. Add this to the stage. Guys, of course, if we are looking at Viktor Osimhen, Napoli, well, again, the rumors coming in that according to Gazzetta dello Sport Italy, that Napoli have exploratory contacts about signing Rasmus Hojlund this summer, right? Manchester United started the asking price of 50 million pounds, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. Now, might be premature, might be to say that, would you sell Hojlund? Is it too early? You know, we saw that he was experiencing a drought. He didn't score for 21 games, you know, but he scored last time together with Garnacho. Is that Man United say, well, can we sacrifice Hojlund to get an Osimhen, for instance? Can we do a swap deal? We did an exercise about this, that this will break even if Man United sell, you know, Hojlund to Napoli for 50 million, and the, you know, the remaining money they sort of invest in Osimhen. I mean, arguably to say, like, if you go into this story, like, you know, who would you take at the end of the day? Like, you know, so we do have like Ekitike, we have Šeško, Gyökeres, and Osimhen. For me, the cherry on the top, in my opinion, is Osimhen and Gyökeres, right? There's no other shadow of the doubt, in my opinion, you know. But how can we found it? Well, we just cover this, how we can do that, like, you know. But I want to sort of go into the poll and see what you guys have been voting so far. The poll is running, and you say Man United is signing a striker in the summer. Who would you sign? We have 4 options. There was Ekitike. I can't even pronounce it, guys. I'm word blind. Hugo, Ekitike, and we have Šeško, Gyökeres, and Osimhen. And Gyökeres, according to your opinion, is 67%. So that is a no-brainer. Osimhen 70% and Šeško 0%. Nobody actually voted for That's kind of concludes it. Let me just end that poll here, guys. Let me end that poll and see. I have some messages coming in, so excuse my English. I'm just going to go to your comment section. What you think? Yeah, we have all the way from USA. Paul S is saying, when you play in all cup competitions, including Europe, the schedule is packed with matches. No Europe means rest and recovery between matches. More time to train the squad. Just saying. I agree with you, mate. I totally agree with you. And apparently, we're not playing until what, 3rd of April, so we have plenty of time, and there's like lots of international breaks coming in here as well. So at the end of the day, like, you know, who would you sign? You, Paul, voted 67% for Gyökeres, and yeah, I believe we can do that. Like, you know, I don't believe one word in what the report was saying that he's too old for the age profile. At the end of the day, we're also going to talk about some news coming out that Onana is apparently, like, Ruben Amorim had enough of Onana, and I kind of towed the line. Onana, for me, is costing us a lot of games, and defenders are really, really worried. Like, you know, when you're playing with a goalkeeper that's not commanded the box, again, in the last game we played, Onana came up from the box, and there was no need. Like, you know, Victor Lindelof was shouting him, why are you coming out your box, mate? Like, you know, of course, he did a couple of good signings, but for me, he looks like a hockey goalkeeper, the way he saves the ball and stuff like that. So I would say that if it's not a really priority right now, we have to look at midfielder. Sverre Nipan is one on the cheap, and promoting the academy players. We have Morehouse, we have Fletcher twins. Who else do we have there? Collier, XYZ. But we need a ball carrier. Definitely, we need that. You know, Zubamendi would be a great addition, but he's a number 6. But the last position that I would look at is 100% get rid of Onana or just fizz him out. Like, you know, Bayander is injured. I mean, we've seen cameos. Bayander, like, you know, the bravery in Arsenal, the penalty is such a great shot stopper, but Bayander needs to work on his distribution. But there's a big question mark that I ask everyone here. Like, you know, what is the role of a goalkeeper, right? Is it to be a ball-playing keeper, or is it actually to stop the ball to go into the freaking net? For me, a goalkeeper, yeah, you should be the one in the 6-yard box, the only one that can sort of command the box and pick up the ball with your hands. So definitely for me, a goalkeeper should be both, right? First and foremost, stop the ball to go in. And number 2, be a good on your feet, because that's the modern day football, in my opinion. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffith, coming in as well. Big up to you and the VR roomers. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. What's Daniel Fletcher saying? Mick, have you heard of any potential names for number 10 position? No, I haven't. Of course, we're talking about Cunha as well, potentially a Premier League proven, but it all depends on what Man United will do. They have the sort of everything, the cards closed down. We're not, you know, it's a blind Texas Hold'em at the moment. So yeah, we know that the finances are dire, but you know, we just went over how we can finance this. And I believe Man United will spend like at least 4 or 5 signings in the summer. Hat-trick, Steph, 100%. Jolly Mummy said, with 3 in the back, the keeper should be the 4th man. 100%. You know, everyone knows it. Like, you know, we signed Onana as a sweeper keeper, like as a ball-playing keeper, but it hasn't really been great, has he, right? His distribution's been dodgy. His commanding of the box is not there. He's not communicating. He's doing silly mistakes that cost us a lot of points in games. So for me, there's no smoke without fire. This room is coming out from Carrington that they're not happy. They're looking to fizz him out. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I rather look us to strengthen the striker position, the right wing situation, and also the midfield. In terms of right wing, we got snubbed over Quenda. There's nothing we can do. There was arguably to say reports saying that we were bound to make that deal, but due to the PSR, we were looking to make that deal in, you know, early June, July because of the PSR reasons. So Chelsea just didn't have, you know, they just went swooped in and got him, just splashed the cash. But apparently we're also looking at another target from Braga, which is Roger Fernandes. Roger Fernandes is an unknown quantity, but I looked him up, and you know, if you compare his stats, if you look at his compilation videos, I know you shouldn't look at compilation videos, you know, you should look at him in real life, but apparently he's equally good in outputs and defensive as Quenda. So, and that's something that United could sort of pull up for 25 million euros. And instantly I'm thinking, well, that's another smart business how you can do it, because, hey, we signed Patrick Dorgo for 25, and Patrick Dorgo is he's awesome, right? Still like work in progress, but we can see that Patrick Dorgo is becoming good. And then if we look at, the way Man United is sort of moving forward in the wingback situation, we know that we signed Diego Leon, the young 17-year-old, 18-year-old that's coming in this summer as well. You also have Harry Amos. So there's 3 for that position. If we look at the right wing situation, we only have Diego Deloy, and happy birthday to Diego Deloy, by the way. But for me, we can see that Ruben Amorim is giving me a lot of stick on the sidelines. I certainly believe that we need to get a right wing back. Roger Fernandez. If you get money for Diego Deloy, sell him. If not, just put him as a number 2, like to come off the bench, but also promote somebody from the academy. I want to hear from you guys. Sweeper keeper, what you're saying here, Stephanie Griffith. A sweeper keeper, but must be a keeper first and foremost, key position in the team, just like a centre forward. Big up to crew, big up to you, Danny B. Jarleman, what you're saying here. We really, really need a left wing back. Do we really need a left wing back? No, we don't. A right wing back. Do we have Ahmad Dorgo and can play that? True. I forgot about that. Ahmad can play right wing back. You must mean right wing back instead of left wing back. Dorgo can play there as well. Amos and Diego Leon on the right side. Dorgo and Leon both playing. They spend on the wings would be nuts. Potentially, Yoli, you might have opened the Pandora's box there. Potentially, that's the way Man United has been thinking about it, assessing the situation. And that's why they probably, let Quenda go for Chelsea. Potentially, they looked at it and say, listen, we have Ahmad that can play right wing back. As you said, we have Dorgo that can play that. We have even Amos that can play that. And we have somebody, what's his name from the academy? Oh, God, he was injured. I can't forget. Oh, guys, help me in the chat. The guy from the academy that's been injured. He's also the next up-and-coming prodigy that can play that. Please help me in the chat if you remember what's his name. Danny, what you're saying here, I sell Dalot and promote. Yeah, Mantato. Yes, Mantato. That's the one. And also Shea Lacey. Yeah, Mantato. Yeah, Mantato is the one that can play there as well. And I believe that Mantato will be promoted in the summer, 100%. He's a natural right wing back. And apparently, he's really good. But of course, his injuries was derailing him this season. He was never promoted. And Shea Lacey is another one, and Ibrahimov as well. Shea Lacey as well, what you say. So see, guys, this is what I want to talk to you about. Because if we look at the under 21s and the under 18s, we do have abundance of talents ready to be used. And if I look at Ruben Amorim, he was successful in Sporting. What he did, he promoted 16 youth players, So basically, it doesn't really matter if you're 17, 18, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And we need all that squad that we can need and talent, in my opinion. And then you just go out and recruit fresh new blood. Why new fresh blood? Because it's always good for the morale of the squad. People get motivated. There's competition for places. So for me, if I look at it, if we're going to promote Shea Lacey, Matata as well, and Carson, yeah, definitely. You need to still to add a little bit more experience. For me, I go all in the summer for the cherry on the top, the striker, the finisher, in terms of Viktor Gyökeres. And then I look at a midfield signing. Who would that be? I don't know. We were linked to Sverre Nipan from Rosenborg. He did a January tour. He went to visit the Arsenal City, but he never did a decision. And he's a Man United fan, so potentially we can get Sverre Nipan cheap on 10 to 15 million pounds. What you're saying, Jarleman, what is the latest from Norway? What is the latest on Sverre Nipan? Why didn't he go in the January? He wanted to stay another season, but potentially he'll be available in the summer. So I take Sverre Nipan 100%. We have seen 3 debuts already under Amorim, and he has not been here for 6 months. 100%. What is your opinion, Danny B? Saying Arden Jashari, center defender, midfielder, Club Brugge, perfect cheap signing. Could also check him out, make you be impressed. I definitely thank you for that tip. 100% Viking smash RBK, and that's what is important. 100%. Nippon is essential, what you're saying. Yeah, you agree, 100% Nippon. Yeah, I definitely take Nippon. Right? So, guys, we are building a squad for the future. We haven't really seen the fruit of Ruben Amorim as of yet. Like, it's been dire with everything's gone wrong with the club, the cost cuttings. We saw the ticketing prices, the announcement from the club, 5% increase. And it's that much. It's the evil necessary what needs to be done because we need to raise finances. But I feel sorry for the match-going fans at the end of the day. But there's nothing we can do about it, guys. There's nothing we can do. And I protest. What should we do? But money needs to be raised at the end of the day. And if you look at it, it's not that much. Like, I think it was about £5 per ticket, right? Nippon is essential. Frimpong, yes, Frimpong, Stephanie Griffith always linked to United too. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, definitely attacking. But Frimpong, if you compare Frimpong to Amad Diallo, do we really need Frimpong then? Because Amad Diallo, in my opinion, could play right wing back. And then we can have more attacking options as 2 number 10s, right? You can have Garnacho, Xerxes, even play Bruno as 1 number 10s, because the reason why Bruno is playing much deeper, because we don't have anyone else. Ugarte has been a transformative signing. We see the upcoming Toby Collier. I like Collier 100%. But Casemiro needs to go. Like, he's doing well, Casemiro, at the end of the day. But 350k a week, obviously the club is doing everything in the power to sort of offload the wage bill, in my opinion. Ahmad, according to Danny, Ahmad is the best right wing back. So yeah, Ahmad over Frimpong. Guys, let me know in the comments. Get involved in the chat. Would you take Ahmad or Frimpong? I would say we don't need Frimpong because we have an Ahmad, right? And speaking of Ahmad, like, how excited are you that Ahmad's recovery is faster than the club thought? Like, he's walking without crutches. He'll be back after the international break. And this is essential, like, when we're looking at the Europa League. Apparently we're playing when was it? 11th of April, Lyon away. We might have players being back, like, the likes of Kobie Mainoo, the likes of Lenny Euro, the likes of Ahmad. We have Mason Mount already. We forgot Mason Mount. So Mason Mount might be a new signing. But Mason Mount, oh my God, you need to stay fit, Mason Mount. And there was another report to also say Luke Shaw saying, "I'll be back," like bloody Schwarzenegger. It's been 1 year since he started for United, and he's betting on himself. "I'll be back," like Terminator. I don't think that Luke Shaw will be back. I think that there's no more spare parts for the club to fix him. He's a massive problem for the club. 250k a week, 200k a week. There's no way, Jose, he's done. He's done. But if I look at Mason Mount, all the physios, he's got to, check his diet. You need to look at his hamstring. You need to look after himself, like, because we haven't seen much of Mason Mount, in Man United shirt. But it's, when he's played for us, he's looked really good off the ball. And, his pressing off the ball, his tenacity, this is exactly a Ruben Amorim profile. So if Mason Mount can stay fit, that is a kind of new signing as well, right? 20 likes. Yeah, please, Barman, big up to you. Ahmad doesn't seem to have the track back qualities. He's a forward, I think. Yeah, 100%. But this is something that we see. He's taking instructions from Ruben Amorim, and he's been the most improved player under Ruben Amorim. What's the news on Heaven injury? The latest news that he rolled an ankle, mate, and it's a type B, so he might be out to 3 to 6 weeks. Don't put any pressure on the ankle. He was seen walking out from the stadium in a protective boot, but normally walking out in a protective boot without any crutches. We are yet to find out what the scans are. I don't think it's a fracture, but thank God it's not a knee, it's not an ACL, it's an ankle, and that takes usually up to 6 weeks. And that's another transformative signing that's we done really, really smart. And it was less than £5 million, what I've been hearing. If you speak about Heaven, he's the future. He's a ball-playing, centre-back. He's starting to find his feet. Like, he's so confident on the ball going forward. And this is kind of the signings that I want to see. And then, another one that's coming in the summer is Diego Leon. He's similar profile, guys. He's a monster, a specimen. He looks like a 27-year-old man. The same with Heaven as well. Like, He might be 18, but he played already like he played with the team for many, many years. He played like a mature 26-year-old. You know what I mean? Listen, Yali is also agreeing we will have Mount, Shaw, Mainoo, Maguire, and Euro back for the Forest game. And all of a sudden, everything looks good, you know? It's not doom and gloom anymore. But I know we've been living under the rock, under negativity, with everything that's been going on with the club, the rebuild, the restructure, the cut costing, the increase of ticketing prices, the protest, and sitting 13th in the league is not being easy for us fans, like, you know. So it is what it is. So I can just easily say, like, you know, I'm looking forward for the signing of the summer window, who we're going to get. It's going to be very interesting to see which of the academy players are going to be part of the, you know, preseason tour, and who's going to be selected for the first team, you know, 100%. We also seen the lights of being, you know, academy players being introduced now already. Jack Reacher, Shaw should retire to protect his old age. Yup. Yeah, guys, I'll be back. I will be back. As I said, like, you know, it's like Meccano, mate. Like, you know, he's like the Frankenstein. There's parts everywhere. But you got to feel sorry for him. That nasty leg break that he suffered, you know, he's never been the same, you know. But at the end of the day, you rush yourself into being part of the Southgate Euro team, and then you've gone missing in action for the remaining of the season for Manchester United. And who pays your wages, mate? So for me, that's no retreat, no surrender. You know, I want you out of my club. I cannot lie, to be honest. And I speak my truth, you know. Paulus is saying, sometimes send a case of Faye Bento's pies. Show will show up. Yeah. Did you see as soon as he signed Patrick Dogo, Shaw like making himself fit for training? He did one training session and he was out. Like, you know, Maguire back. Woohoo! Yahoo! Oh my God. Now I understand why the club wants to sort of extend the contract with Maguire, because we need leaders. You know, if we're going to look at the squad for the future, the youngsters, like, you know, I say that Bruno Fernandes haters, sit down. I don't understand. Bruno Fernandes has been the most transformative signing ever since he came. Like, you know, he hit the ground running that January. Like, you know, stats don't lie. Like, you know, I think he's right up there with Scholes and Cantona, 50 assists, 50 goals. I think he scored 97 goals in his Man United career. And he's becoming really, really good. You know, the way he's kind of, you know, nurturing himself, the way he speaks, the way he's like nurturing the talent. And then you know what, Roy Keane, eat a humble pie. You know, he said it in the post-match interview, like, you know, yeah, I do respect Roy Keane, but I try to be the best version for myself and help my teammates. So yeah, ex-players can sit down. You know, you can complain as much as you want. Your days are over. Your boots are hung up. We have to look at, you know, the current captain that we have. And if Bruno Fernandes doesn't show up, there's no party without Bruno, in my opinion. So I just don't really understand why people have the agenda against Bruno Fernandes. He's the most creative force that we have in the field. And if we only build around Bruno Fernandes, we need creative players around Bruno. Of course, you look at the likes of Christian Eriksen. Of course, he doesn't have the legs, but he got the technical ability. So we need to get another player to build around Bruno that can sort of be creative. They can play that tiki-taka, one give and go football, right? Bruno, 95 goals, United, 31 pence. Yeah, the king of pens is the Bruno, you know. They see him there, they seek him there. Who is it? Bruno Fernandes. 95 goals for United and 31 pence. Wow. 100%. TBT, Man United already have a strong squad. Yup, we do. Richard, Jack, you mentioning a point, because we've been blinded by the lights, you know. Like that song, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights, because we tend to see only on the negatives. But when you actually stop and you look at the academy players, you look at the current squad, and now you started to see that they're starting to gel together. They're starting to understand. Ruben Amorim has been playing like, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you know, doing the mad professor chemistry, mixing to see who's, you know, slapped a little bit of Maguire there, didn't work. Slapped a little bit of Kobie Mainoo, didn't work. Played Kobie Mainoo as number 10, 9, like, let's start with a fresh canvas. And now we're starting to see that, yeah, this is working, right? But it's so important, in my opinion, that the club needs to back him, and it looks like they are going to back him in the summer window. Bring in youth academy players and blend it with more experience and I think we will have a better season, in my opinion. Barman is saying Roy Keane is not from new generation players. No, you're absolutely right, players. You talk to them and they start crying. They're like porcelain dolls. They are this social media area. What should Bruno do? Well, that's it. You need to sort of understand, like, man management, how you're managing, the generation Z, Gen Z and stuff like that. You have different generations in the squad. And I didn't grow up with social media. Social media was thrown in my face when I grew up. Like, there was Facebook, and then came Twitter, there came all the Instagrams, and everyone was, it was weird for me when you're starting doing selfies. It's like, why are people doing this? Like, But nowadays, the preservation is that everyone has a social media presence. So everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be adored. As soon as you get criticized, nobody likes to be criticized. So you have a point there, because back in the days, like, players took it on the chin. Like, if Roy Keane gave you shit, you listen to Roy Keane. Otherwise, there was like, unrest in the dressing room. Like, you get an uppercut from Roy Keane. But nowadays, you can't really tell them off, right? We saw that Ruben Amorim smashed the bloody TV to say, listen, shtush, right? So as soon as they got a little bit of criticism, they went to the agent, cried out, agent leaked out to the media, and that's where we saw the press leaking, yeah? So MySpace, 100%. I remember MySpace, mate. Oh my God, MySpace. That was a classic, MySpace. You post your music there. Preston, what you're saying here, Preston, big up. Squad far injury prone, and we need athletes, and we need intensity, 100%. Blinded out by the light, and Springsteen, Bruce Springsteen. Baby, we were born to run. Do. Jack Reacher. We have different generation, blinded by the light, the Gen Z, and of course the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Baby, we were born to run. Guys, at the end of the day, I want to hear from you guys. I was coming in here. I'm not in my studio. I'm traveling. Challenges ahead. I do apologize. I did start the stream. Now you can hear me. Now you can see me. It's not illusion. What do you think? Let me know in the non-live comment section. Most important, who should Man United sign as a striker? I go Viktor Gyökeres all the way. Second is Osimhen, and the rest can just sort off, in my opinion. We don't need a Delap. We don't need an up-and-coming Šeško. No, Arsenal can take this Šeško, in my opinion. Manchester United, if you want to sort of be transformative, if you want to add that cherry on top, listen to Uncle Mick. Gyökeres is your answer. Gyökeres knows Ruben Amorim's system. Gyökeres knows how to run the channel, but also keep Rasmus Hojlund, for crying out loud. Rasmus Hojlund is becoming good, and people need to understand how to play to Rasmus Hojlund's strength. Play it on his feet. Don't let Rasmus Hojlund be the wrestler, because he's still learning. He gets put down on the floor every time, and all you need is a choke tap on, like from Rasmus Hojlund, in my opinion. Blinded by the light, MySpace. Big up to everyone for tuning in. Guys, what are you doing when it's not international break? Let me know in the non-live comment section. We ain't playing football for 2-3 weeks. Are you looking forward for the internationals? I'm not going to watch it. I'm taking a break. Lumen is saying, what are you saying? Mick, do we buy a player from the manager or the club? That is a very good question. Do we buy a player for the manager or the club? Well, that's a little bit of a double-edged sword question, because at the end of the day, you need to buy a club signing, because the club signing is the ethos that we're going to play the three in the back, 3-4-3 system. And who do we have here? Ruben Amorim. Of course, the answer is both. But we need to move away from signing for the manager, because we have the result, the blueprint in front of us. That doesn't really work. But if the club are sticking long-term with Ruben Amorim, it has to be both. You need to play. We don't have currently, according to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, what he was saying, we don't have data analysis. That's why we have Wilcox, the eye. So he's the one that's setting the strategy. So of course we need to sign players both for the club, but also system players. No more those individual shirt signing, individual brilliance. We need to have system. A good point is, if you look at Brighton, if you look at Bournemouth, if you look at all these players, all these teams, they're signing system players. They're not signing like, shirt sellers. And Nottingham Forest is a brilliant example. Like, who would have thought that Nottingham Forest sitting third in the league, but they've done smart signings. They didn't sign for the manager, but they signed for the ethos of the club. and the way they want to play football. And you can definitely identify the hidden gems on low budget. And look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And by the way, we're playing Nottingham Forest on the return. So, oh my God. I never thought that Nottingham Forest would sit third in the league. So that's massive kudos. I like that little bit of a surprise story, like 2016 when Leicester won the league. They did it unthinkable. Listen, they are playing, 100%. You know, they're buying players for the club, you know. Delight Springsteen signing about us actually Striper dancing along. Yes, true. Paul S is saying, I'm going to sort of wrap up the stream, but I'm going to read your comments as well before I wrap up the stream. Hate international break. International play should be off season 100%. Hey, guys, by the way, I want to sort of throw back Carabao Cup final. Do you guys remember that when there was a VAR? Was it my ears playing a trick, or was that mic'd up referee? I think it was mic'd up referee, because he was speaking to the crowd. He was speaking directly in the mouth and give him the decision what it was. Yes, it was mic'd up. But what I want to see, that kind of is the future of refereeing now. But I want to hear the VAR room, the debate, what's going on there, right? Let me know. Yeah, it was mic'd up because the referee was speaking. Yes, 100% it did. Yali is saying, I have read that there are looking players that are universal players that could fit into any system. True. And what do you mean with universal players that can play multiple positions? 100%. 16 days to our next game. Nothing to do. Well, if there's 16 games to our next game, just do something else, guys. You know, walk your dog and get fit, go to the gym, forget about United, and we see you back in 16 days. I'm here in Vietnam, traveling, enjoying, doing sightseeing, doing my, I do 10,000, 20,000 steps a day and posting videos. If you missed it this morning, I did a video from the beach when I was walking and talking, and that's about it, you know. Bama, what you're saying here, players should be concerned about the front of the shirt, not what it says on the back. Oh, what a comment. 100%, not what it says on the back. Rashford, forget about it. The front here is Manchester United, 100%. What a brilliant comment. And finally, Jack Rich is saying, all the time I thought Bruce was singing about Jesus. You did. Oh, Bruce. Oh, which is your favorite Bruce Springsteen song? Yeah. How welcoming have the Vietnamese people been there? It's been amazing. It's first time in Vietnam. I forgot it's a communist country, but you know, one thing that you notice, they don't speak much English. Like, so it's a little bit hit and miss when you order something, right? But the ones that speak, they're quite good. And you get annoyed by all the tuk-tuk taxis and the cyclists. Like, you know, I'm just literally walking from the convenience store to my hotel where I'm living, and I get attacked by 3 taxi drivers, or, you know, Grab drivers, or Uber drivers on motorbike. Taxi. And it's like, no. I just live here. So it's a little bit funny, a little bit of a cultural difference, like, you know. 16 days to tell media to shut up and the comments away from sunshine. 100%. You know, George Vukovic in the house. Big up George. Retire Luke Shaw. Mount how long before he has injured? 100%. Yeah, listen, Mount, I don't mind. Mount gives the team something. Luke Shaw, even if he returns back, he cannot play the left wing back position. So the only way you can keep Luke Shaw is to play the left centre back position. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, guys, beautiful people, thank you so much. To sum up the thing, they had some news coming out that Man United will do some signings. There's been some talks about the 4 striker signings being identified as per usual. Let me just bring this to the stage. Manchester United are looking to strengthen the in-the attack. Apparently, according to the news from Plettenberg, we are looking at the striker Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Šeško, Viktor Gyökeres, Osimhen, and also remaining high on the list. And also add this to the stage, what we talked about, when Manchester United are definitely generating funds in the window by the departure of Viktor, Lindelof, Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, Kobie Mainoo, and the sale of Rashford and Anthony. Guys, this has been beautiful. morning roundup. I promised to do 30 minutes, but we've done 20 minutes extra time. And you guys don't mind when we do 20 minutes extra time in content, do you? Anyway, big up to all of you. Dancing in the Dark is your favorite. Yes, Dancing in the Dark is a good one. But also Robin. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, I keep dancing on my own. Anyway, this has been my singing talents. And to wrap up the stream, we have Jarlem. I mean, if Shaw and Mount stay fit, we will have a massive player back. We will have massive players back, but I think they break after 45 minutes. Yeah, porcelain dolls. Anyway, that is your favorite. Born in the USA. Born in the USA. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, guys, beautiful people, thank you for tuning in. This has been me having my say, and I wish you a great, productive day. What do we say here? Glory, glory, Man United, bankers out, glazes out, and all that jazz. Stay humble, stay beautiful, and there's no football for another 13, 16 days. Let me know in the non-live comment section, what are you planning to do without Manchester United playing football? Thank you. Goodbye, beautiful people. It's time to close the shop. Bye for now. Cheers.